Jason Gartner, guitar teacher with Bring the Music to You, the East Valley's provider of music lessons. So today I have a lesson for you on refingering or repositioning notes. Okay, right now you just heard my kind of wannabe version of Ynqwien Malmsteen's awesome piece, Trilogy. By the time I started learning that piece, I was just kind of picking up chops for fun. I'm more of my own songwriter at this point, more than anything. But I think it's a great piece and a great example of what we're going to cover today. So first of all, let me say this. You go out, you buy a tab, right? The fingering looks difficult, kind of finger twisting, or the position in which they're playing the notes. Sometimes the solution for that is to play the notes in a different position than what's actually written on the tab. The guitar has the same note in multiple different positions. So we need to be open to this possibility. So, for example, I have the open E string sound right here. Put it on the 5th fret of the B string, I get the same sound. Put it on the 9th fret of the G string, I get the same sound. But then on the 14th fret of the D string, the same sound. And then again, I can keep on going to the 19th fret of the A string. Now, I don't have 24 frets on this guitar, otherwise I'd also get it on the 24th fret of my thickest E string. I would end up with the same note in 6 different positions, right? So we need to be open-minded to this possibility sometimes when we're struggling with getting the left-hand fingering of a piece, or even the picking action. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of examples that I've seen where a different solution than what was first written on sheet music or the first instinct would seem funner. Now, first of all, to demonstrate, I'm going to start off with something real basic, kind of a folksy tune that we've all heard before. I'm going to start off with Mary Had a Little Lamb, okay? Mary Had a Little Lamb could be real easily played on the E string 0, B string 3rd fret, B string 1st fret, B string 3rd fret, and then open E, back to the B string 3rd fret, back to the open E, and the 3rd fret of the E string. Now, I've got tons of other possibilities. First of all, we've already said that the open E sound is found on the 5th fret of the B string. So what if I just did this? All I did was change one note. It required me to change some fingerings, but that one note was the open E string. Now what if I wanted to play it all on one string? Well, I could take the 3rd fret of the E string here, the G note, and 3 plus 5 on the B string gets me the 8th fret, which would get me this sound then. So I'd be something like that. So the point is, I've got multiple different solutions. Okay, that's just a real basic example. Okay, let's look at a slightly more complicated example. Let's look at Crazy Train, as played by Randy Rhoads in the studio recording. Now I've seen tabs of this that show it played all in 2nd position. And that's fairly manageable. The chop looks like this. Okay? It's manageable like that. But one complication is some of the cross-string picking that you have to do. Right? So I find myself on this part where I'm going. I'm playing the 2nd fret of the A string or the G string and the 4th fret of the D string, and then going back and forth between those two, really fast pick of both notes. And then I do the same maneuver up one set of strings, so 2nd fret of the D string, 4th fret of the A string. That requires some pretty coordinated pick motion. Okay? Maybe you don't feel that confident with your pick strokes. And different players have different priorities, so maybe that developing your picking technique to that level isn't necessarily your priority, but you'd like to be able to play Crazy Train. So, well, that whole chop is basically based off the F sharp minor blues scale, right, or the A major blues scale, with exception of one note. It's based off this scale. Now that same scale can be played here. Okay, I'm just playing in a different position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first half of that chop in the 2nd fret position, temporarily go up to this 4th fret position, and then go back to the 2nd fret, and that eliminates that need for that cross string picking. It'll sound like this. Okay, so instead of doing this, when I'm playing across 2 strings, I'm doing this. Some nice little pull-offs from 7 to 4. Okay, quick little solution. Made that a lot easier on the right hand. Okay, another good example, Lindsey Stirling's song Crystalize, right? Crystalize has a little chop that sounds like this. Okay, it can be done right here. I was just playing it all in 5th position. I was doing some finger rolling. I was basing it off of this D minor shape, right? Something that's commonly used by sweep pickers. Now, say for example, I don't like doing a whole lot of that sweep picking stuff, right? I've got another option. I can move the first two notes up to 10th position, and then kind of hang around here in 7th position instead of 5th position, right? Once again, taking this 5th fret note on the E string, moving up 5 frets higher to get the 10th fret of the B string, taking the 6th fret note of the B string, moving it up 4 frets higher on the G string, because the G string and the B string are tuned 4 frets apart, right? So I'm going to go 4 frets higher on the G string to get the 10th fret also. And instead of doing some finger rolling or anything like that, I'm just going to use my pinky finger and my 3rd finger, because I don't like to finger roll with my pinky finger a whole lot. Not that I can't do it, but it's just not a technique a whole lot of classical guitarists use. I happen to have classical training too, so that one just has always kind of gone against the grains for me. So I'm going to play ended up being just as comfortable, if not more comfortable. Okay, so there you go. There's another chop that you can end up playing. It's kind of a new chop for me, so I'm getting some open string noise in there. Not too thrilled about that. Okay, another example. A couple examples. One of the toughest pieces I've ever learned how to play, and I consider it to be at like the limit of my shred abilities, is Ynqwien Malmsteen's song Trilogy. Okay, let's face it, he's a freak. He's awesome. He's awesome, and I really don't have the goal of catching up to him at his particular art. I consider myself more of a mixed musical artist, you know, exploring a variety of sounds, and maybe not so mechanical as he is. Not to diss him. I think he's awesome. He's great. But so if you look at Wolf Marshall's transcription of this piece, he's got the very first chop to the main riff, riff A, happening here on 15th position. Okay? It's a little bit of a difficult position to play that chop in. And once again. Now I'm not knocking Wolf Marshall either. His transcriptions are always no perfect. Just position-wise, fingering-wise. I felt the need to do something different. And then to top it off, I watched an Ynqwien Malmsteen video where he actually does finger it differently. It's the exact same notes that Wolf Marshall wrote in, just in a different position. So Ynqwien, for example, or Wolf Marshall has it down as at one point playing the 18th fret of the B string. This same note could be found on the 18 minus 5 on the 13th fret of the E string, right? So I play in 13th position for that first chop. And like I said, that's kind of at the limit of my shred abilities. I can play it on a good day, and today I'm a little warmed up, maybe a little bit more focused on setting up the camera and getting this video shot for y'all. But ultimately I found that I can play it much faster and much cleaner when I am warmed up in 13th position. and then shifting positions like this. If you actually look at the chop, the way Yngwie plays it, he uses these 3 fingers twice in a row, 2 strings in a row, and then some additional lick. And then he does these two sets of fingers in a row again, or that set of fingers twice in a row again. So it's basically just the same chop twice in a row. Makes sense to do the same chop twice in a row with the same exact fingers twice in a row, and that's the benefit of that. Alright, I'm going to warm up more. Anyhow, point is, that's that chop right there. And then he later on goes into this riff right here. You may remember the sweep picking riff where he goes. Alright, once again, a little bit of my abilities here. But the way Wolf Marshall has it fingered, he has it done in 15th position. I don't know about you guys, but if you can see what's going on there, or if you on the tab, that's a finger twister, man. Hard to get down full speed. So I got to looking at that, and I realized it's just a 2-string pattern. So I play that chop on nothing but the B string and E string starting in 10th position. Slide it up to 12th position. Sliding up to 13th position. And then sliding up to 15th position. And there you go. I refingered it. Play on nothing but 2 strings. Playing 3 notes in a row per string. Becomes a 3-note per string chop. And feels a lot more convenient for both hands. Right? Again, that's a difficult chop to get up full speed, but it's a lot more convenient 3-note per string style. Okay? So there's that chop. So anyhow, be aware of the possible alternate fingerings, alternate positions that you have for multiple riffs. Of course, to make this happen, you have to get to know your fretboard. So, of course, we'll be posting some videos on getting to know your fretboard. Take a look at those. Of course, ask your teacher in lessons. I do encourage you, even if you're somebody who's not a student of us, if you live in a different state, different town, whatever, and you're checking out this video, get a teacher. At least on occasion get a teacher, so that you actually have somebody who can watch you up close and personal from multiple angles and give you lots of advice. So it makes a big difference. So thanks for checking us out. We look forward to seeing you next time. Bye now.